help us take a look at what DOL is doing now. What do you think that one should do about this 5-part test? Or you think we should just leave it alone, and why?
At this point, I would suggest that the Labor Department leave it alone. And the why is because we've got a bunch of regulators, Congress, the states, the SEC, that are all trying to regulate the same space. I would suggest, give some time to see if those rules work, and recognize that the Labor Department's not a panacea. It's in an awkward spot trying to regulate more broadly, trying to regulate insurance, trying to regulate brokers, trying to regulate investment advisors outside of the plan context. It's lost in court a handful of times, and I'm suspicious that, if I had to be a betting man, I'd bet it loses again. If we're unhappy with the care standards that folks owe, Congress should take a look at it and figure out if it makes sense the way they've structured it. I think there are good arguments both ways. There's good arguments that insurance is regulated well by the states. There's good arguments that the SEC does a good job at regulating investment advice. There's good arguments that the Labor Department really puts the interest of participants first in the areas that it has control. And the arbiter of, how those balances are going to be made, whether it should be a single regulation or not, I think we've really got to look to Congress for that. And I know that Congress is slow and Congress is relatively, at times, dysfunctional. But if we're going to be dramatically changing the way that folks save for retirement, it should be something that has a broad consensus. And a problem that we've had for the last couple of efforts has been there hasn't been broad consensus. Courts have struck it down. And while we can all envision a better world, the issue we face is that everybody's better world looks a little bit different. And then we find ourselves at odds. And the 5-part test, for now might be as good as it gets. And that when folks find folks who they want to work with for retirement saving, for financial planning, if someone holds themselves as an insurance agent, a broker, or an advisor, it's going to be important for individuals to ask good questions, to understand if they're picking somebody who is going to work for them. Because we do have a robust regulatory structure today, but it's no substitute for understanding the individual who's giving you the advice and what their incentives are.